Why should you start making your own homemade wine today? Reason number one, it is a great way of using up a glut, a surplus, too much of what you grow in your allotment or your garden. It saves food waste. You grow too much, you can't always cook it, you can't always freeze it, you can't always preserve it. But if you can make wine from it, you will have a great deal of pleasure from all of your surplus fruit and vegetables that you grow. And if you don't garden, if you don't have an allotment, if you don't grow your own stuff, winemaking will be a great introduction to gardening. The two, winemaking and gardening, go hand in hand. So you're getting twice the hobbies for the same benefit. Oh, fantastic. Reason number two to make your own homemade wine. Your compost heap and your septic tank will love you for this. When you make your own homemade wine, you always end up with the lees, the sediment, which is the fruity, yeasty gunk at the bottom of your brew vessel, of your bucket or your demijohn. Put this into your septic tank or put this into your compost heap. Either. That natural sediment, that yeasty gunk, is laden so high in good, nutritious nutrients and yeast that your septic tank and your compost heap will devour and it will set them going really, really well. You will end up with a really healthy septic tank or a really healthy, good-looking, wonderful compost heap. If your compost heap is happy, it'll make you awesome compost. If you have awesome compost, you will have awesome plants. If you have awesome plants, you will grow more to make more wine. So it's mutually beneficial. The better you look after your compost heap, the more wine you don't have. Reason number three to make your own homemade wine. It's a hobby that does not have a large startup cost to it. You can make your first gallon of wine using all the equipment you can find in your own kitchen and buy from the local supermarket for under £5. And that includes the ingredients to make your first 6 bottles of wine. You cannot buy 6 bottles of wine for a £5 in the shop. No. So why don't you buy what you need and make your own? The hobby does not take up a lot of room either. You can fit the demijohns under the stairs, in the cupboards, behind the curtains, under the table. There's loads of hiding places where you can put the demijohns for storage. As the hobby progresses, yes, you may want to find a designated place to put them, but it's not needed if you want to make a few gallons here and there. You can make wonderful wine cheaply and easily. It's a great hobby. It will keep you entertained and amused for ages and for very little initial outlay. Reason number 4. You will build up a big stockpile of wine. The more you make, the more bottles you're going to have. The more bottles you're going to have, the more you're going to store for the year ahead. And the more you have for the year ahead, the bigger your piles, and then the better you're going to feel about your hobby. Never, when people come over for dinner or for a party, are you going to be short of wine to pass around and put on the table. Those Friday, Saturday nights, you're going to have plenty to choose from. That is one of the beauties of making your own homemade wine. You will have a full wine rack and well-stocked cellar of your home brew, your homemade wine. What other hobby will fill up your wine rack for you? Reason number 5 for making your own home brew. You can be as creative as you want. You don't have to follow recipes. You don't have to stick with the norm. You can step outside of the homebrew box. Mess around with flavours. If you want to make a wine, make it. Don't follow preset rules. Don't follow preset concepts of what a good wine is going to be. If you like a particular flavour combination in food, make it. Never will you find in the shops rhubarb and mint or rhubarb and ginger. But all these things are going to be such a diverse benefit to your wine rack and your homebrew cellar. You're going to have all these wonderful, wonderful flavours that no one else is going to have anywhere in the world because they are your wines. You created them. Be unique. Be different. Different is better than better in many cases. You can wow people with this unusual combination that really works. This different flavour palette. And you created it, and no one would ever have tried or tasted the same thing elsewhere. Unlike these shop-bought brands where everyone has drunk Echo Falls or Russell Creek, whatever it's called. I never buy shop-bought wine, I don't need to. Reason number 6 why you should make your homebrew wine. You won't have to spend a penny buying commercial shop-bought wines. You're going to save yourself a fortune, trust me. The difference between the price of a bottle of homebrew wine being pennies and a shop-bought wine being pounds, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds for a simple bottle of El Cheapo wine compared to a glorious bottle of homebrew costing you 20 pence. The difference is outstanding. And you can make it in the quantities that you want. You can make 30 bottles, 60 bottles, 100 bottles a month. It will keep you going, it will keep your friends and family going, all for the cost of 1 or 2 mediocre shop-bought bottles. It will save you the hassle of going to the shop because you've run out of booze. It will save you the hassle and the embarrassment of piling your shopping trolley in to last you the week full of bottles. Now, no one's going to see how much you drink if you make your own home brew. And that is another amazing, glorious reason to make your own homemade wine. Reason number 7 is personal pride. There is nothing better than putting out a bottle, especially a really old bottle from 5 years ago that's covered in dust, and putting it on the table and telling your guests that this is the last ever bottle of this unusual homebrew, homemade wine that you created. They do not need to know that you really have another 100 bottles hidden away of that weird concoction of milk and strawberry wine. No, they don't need to know that. But if you tell them it's the last ever of that variety in the world, they are going to lap it up and love it. Far more so than you've gone to the shop and you put some Russell Creek into your shopping trolley. That's 10 a penny, that is. Well, cost-wise, it's not. Your homemade wine will be 10 a penny, literally. The shop-bought wine wouldn't be. That's poor expensive. Anyway, your personal pride would come into play. You have created that from scratch. You've designed your own recipe. You've been creative. You've avoided the high cost of the shop. You've avoided the embarrassment of putting your week's supply of wine in your shopping trolley. And this is something that you have made from scratch in your own kitchen. And it is far superior to those commercial wines. It will be different from commercial wines. It's not going to be the same as that Shiraz or that Chardonnay. It's going to be something completely different. And as I said before, different is better than better in a lot of cases. So be different and take great pride in presenting different wines to your guests and your family. And when you serve that meal, wow, they're going to be stunned because it's so different. And take pride in that fact. Why? Number 8. Making your own homemade wine is a lot more eco-friendly than buying it. The food miles of the bottle of wine that you have made will be far less, especially if you have grown your own fruit and veg and ingredients for the wine. You're not importing a bottle all the way from Chile that's come via cargo ship or plane thousands of miles across the oceans. Those vineyards as well, where the grapes were produced, chances are they use pesticides because they are a profit-making company. They want the highest yield from their vines so they can make as much wine as they can, as quickly as they can. If you use the recycled bottles from your friends and family who don't make their own homebrew, they go to the shop and spend money and buy the wine, and they import it from these countries miles and miles and miles away. You use their bottles, you're recycling. Therefore, the packaging, 100% recycled. Ingredients, they come from your own land, from your own back garden, within 100 foot of your own environment. If you keep bees, use the honey, find a local beekeeper. support them. Support little businesses. Go to the greengrocers. Buy their surplus fruit and veg that's turned slightly brown. Fantastic for winemaking, and you're supporting local businesses. It's far more sustainable, better for the environment, better for your local community, better for your wallet, better for everyone if you make your own homemade wine. And who does not like that feel-good factor? So present it to your guests as being this eco-friendly option. They will love you, and they will love your wine even more, and take great pride in that fact as well. Fantastic. Reason number 8 to make your own homemade wine. It's a blimmin' awesome way of socialising. Believe it or not, there are countless groups across the country who get together to test each other's wine, to run competitions. They have a good old piss up on each other person's wine. Groups of 10, 15, 20, 100 odd people all getting together for taste tests and competitions. You may win a rosette if you get judged to be the best winemaker, but that's not the reason people go to these shows, go to these homebrew events. They go for the social side of it. They go for a get-together, knees up, a chin wag, lots of wine flowing naturally. There's also loads of online forums out there on Facebook and different internet forums all about winemaking, where people come together, share ideas, offer advice. It's one of those hobbies you can do all by yourself without any input from anyone else. You don't need to speak to a soul if you don't want to. Or if you do, there are some fantastic groups you can join. It's a really social thing to do, amazingly. Talking of the social side of it as well, you will have no end of people popping into your home just for a wee tipple, for a wee drink, because they know you have the best wine and a load of it. So why do you make wine? Let me know down in the comments below, because I love hearing from you. And I will see you all again really soon. Have fun now.